Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video about how to craft suppress gear in Necropolis 3.24. So I wanted to make this video because I see a lot of crafting videos and a lot of people saying making suppress gear is really hard in Necropolis, and for the most part that's true, but I wasn't able to find any videos on what the best way to go about crafting suppress gear with the Necropolis League mechanic is. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it. The logic behind it is pretty simple. So I'm just going to pull up the Craft of Exile calculator here. So if you guys have, not seen this calculator before, it'll be in the description below. But I think if you found this video, chances are you're going to be familiar with this. So this calculator just allows us to calculate the odds of hitting a certain item. So in this example, I'm using boots, and I'm hoping for movement speed and T1 spell suppress. So the idea is it's pretty much impossible with Necropolis to craft a perfect item with spell suppress. So you're not going to be able to get, you guys have probably seen some of those 6 mod T1 items. You're not going to get one of those with spell suppress on it. That's just not possible with the way the league mechanic is set up. So what you're going to want to do instead is you're going to want to go for fracturing the item, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. But basically the idea is you want to go for maybe 2 to 3 mods that are going to be really good. For example, on boots, that could be movement speed, spell suppression, and maybe chaos res. So those are 3 mods that you would be more than happy to have fractured on your boots. And then you're going to craft items with the corpse that has chance to fracture an explicit modifier. So let me just pull that up as well right here. So you can see it's a pretty cheap course. I mean, I didn't put the item level on it, but if we put item level 83, I think, yeah, still about 5C. So this is pretty cheap. The idea is you want to get maybe at least 8 of these, right? So you have a 200% chance to fracture, which will give you 2 fractures. So as you can see here in this sample item that I've generated here, we're using 51 graves, and none of this is that crazy. Wait, what's going on? Right, so I don't know why everything disappeared, but regardless, sorry about that. So basically the idea is you have all of these modifiers right here, right? So you've got 4,000% increased chance of chaos. It's just to kind of hope to get chaos res. This is specific to the boots craft. But as far as everything else goes, the idea is you want to just make everything else scarcer because there are no tags. So if you go right here, spell suppress doesn't really have any tags that you can play with, right? It's not an attribute, it's not a resistance, it's not an element, it's not an attack, it's not a defense. So it has no tags. So you just want to reduce the weighting of everything else as much as possible. Now, unfortunately, the other things that don't have tags are reduced attribute requirement, stun and block recovery, and rarity of items, as well as increased energy shield rate. So you're also very likely to get one of these, which makes it kind of unfortunate, which is why it's going to take you a few tries to get an item like this with your boots, right? So with some other items, it might be a little bit easier. I haven't exactly tried too much yet. But the idea is you would generate one of these sample items, and then you would have, like this is a very good roll, for example. Like if we double fractured this, we would be pretty much happy with any of these fracture, right? Like I don't think anybody would be upset having fire res or intelligence fractured on their boot. 35% movement speed or spell suppress. Honestly, I have not seen that roll very often. That's a very good roll. So let's roll that again. So this is an example of a more unfortunate craft. This is obviously a brick, right? So with this setup, you've got a roughly 1 in 3 chance of hitting movement speed and spell suppress. And then since it's a 4 explicit craft, you've got then about roughly a 50-50 to get the fractures that you want, right? Because it's a 2 out of 4. And so I'd say that, on average, it'll probably take you 7-8 tries before you get the double fracture that you want if it's movement speed and spell suppress. Now, if you're willing to settle for some other things, it might be good, but none of these things are particularly expensive, right? Like all of the scarcer things are, I would say, about 5C each. Increased chance of speed is maybe also probably 5C. I would say most of these are 5C. Modifier tier rating also 5C. So you're looking, if we look at an average of 5C per thing, and we've got, let's say, 51. So you're looking at an average of 255C per try. So maybe, you know, what is that? 1.5 divine, 1.7 divine? Not really sure. So 1.7 divine per craft. And if you're going to be hitting it on an average, like less than 10, then you're looking at maybe 10 to 15 divs, right? So that's not too bad for like really, really good boots with movement speed and suppress, which otherwise would be really quite difficult to craft. And then once you have that, then you can just craft it using normal means, whether that be essences or harvest reforge for chaos res, for example. Like I think if you get movement speed and spell suppress, the next thing to do would be harvest reforge for chaos, and then just kind of get life or mana, or you know, whatever it may be. So that's kind of the idea. Just want to let you guys know it's still possible to craft suppress gear. You just have to go the fracturing route, because you're not going to get a good item that has, you know, 6 things on it and also has spell suppress unless you're very lucky. So you just have to go 4 mod item, try to get suppress. If you want to make your odds of hitting the mods a little bit higher, you can go for like a 5 mod, which, well, okay, for some reason that fucked up the calculation, but usually like a 5 mod is going to make it likelier. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that and show you. So far I've only crafted 1 pair of boots like this, and I kind of messed it up a little bit. Where'd I put it? Yeah, so I crafted this pair. I actually messed up. You have to make sure that you're item level 86. I actually forgot about that. But as you can see here, it was a brick. So I went for the 5 mod version. I should have went for the 4 mod. And it went for suppress and rarity. If it had gotten movement speed, that would have been really good, and I probably would have been fine with that. And if you look for similar boots on the market right now, they're, you know, at least 25 divs with 2 decent fractures that are not even best of slots. So I think it's going to be a good opportunity to do some profit crafts as well. So I wanted to share the knowledge with everybody. If you've got any questions, you know, feel free to put them in the description below. I'll be happy to answer anything. I've got a lot of things to figure out myself, so if I find a better way to craft this spell suppress gear, I'll let you guys know, as pretty much all of my gear is going to need some upgrades, and it's going to all need spell suppress. Thanks for watching. See ya.